Hey, what's up, y'all? Welcome back to the channel. Michael here, ChiCityYaker. Appreciate you guys for joining me. In this video, I'm going to share with you the one thing that you absolutely need to add to your kayak setup that is going to change the game for you. And this is for anyone that has, like me, an Old Town Sportsman autopilot. You have the Old Town Sportsman 106 by Minn Kota. If you have any other branded kayak that you've added a trolling motor to, this one piece of gear is going to change the game for you. And if you're wondering what I'm talking about a battery shunt. Now, what this battery shunt is it connects to your battery, and you have to configure it a certain way, which we'll talk about here in a second. But what it does is it gives you a real-time readout of how many amps are being drawn from the battery, as well as your battery percentage. Here on Lake Michigan, I'm going offshore now in the summer because it's very hot and you gotta go out a little deeper to try and find the fish. And when you go out there, you don't ever want to have to be in a situation where you run out of battery, especially if you're going miles offshore and you're doing a lot of miles far away from land. You definitely don't want to be stuck out there. And now with this shunt in place on my battery, I have peace of mind in knowing just how much juice is left in my battery at all times. So let me go ahead and show you how this looks, explain to you how to set it up properly. It's relatively inexpensive to buy, and the one that I have here, I have an Amped Outdoors 100 amp hour lithium battery. Amped Outdoors sells the little kit here that I'm about to show you, but you can also find the kit in Amazon. In fact, I'll link to it down below to make it easy for you to find it, and just if you want to get it, you can purchase it right through there. So let me go ahead and pull this over here and show you guys how this looks, and we'll kind of break it all down. All right, so as you guys can see, here's the Shunt Display, and it sits in this little holder that comes with the Amped Outdoors kit, and it runs into the battery. As you can see right now, it's fully charged. I charged it up yesterday, and so it'll display that, and as you start using your batteries, it's plugged in using your trolling motor, it's going to start to go down. And it's pretty cool because once you see it going down, you can just monitor that. You can hit a couple buttons in here. Now, you're wondering, why is this upside down, right? Now, this is a little hack that I kind of figured out, which is when I place this under my seat. Remember, if you're seated in your autopilot, if I were to face this down right now so I could read it the other way, I wouldn't be able to read it while I'm seated in the kayak. So if you're going to do this setup, you make sure that you flip it upside down so that once you are in your kayak, you can lean forward a little bit and you can actually see it right in between the bars on the seat. And it sits in there without hitting the front of the kayak, like the little battery hull area. It sits in there without interfering with anything. It's really clean. It's really cool. Just lean forward, and at any time you can see the display here. All right, so here's the shunt. As you can see, this is the key to it all. Now, what I want to do is I'm going to explain to you how to properly install this. It's very simple. It can be confusing at first. You're going to notice here that there are two labels on it. You have the B- side, which is over here, and then you have the P- side, which is over here. The B- side is going to go right into the actual negative side of your battery. All right, so remember, B negative goes into the actual battery in the negative port. That's all you do for that part. You literally just screw it into the B-. That's done and over with. Now, as we move along, your P-, this is where you're going to connect the negative. In this case, here's my negative port that originally goes into the negative port on the battery. This negative, the negative lead actually goes into the P-. All right. The other thing I've done is, if you have like a battery charger system, in this case, I have one that goes into my NOCO battery charger. If you're going to do something like this, make sure that you plug the negative lead into the same port and the P-. All right. And of course, the red goes into the positive. But it's super important that you make sure that your negative lead on your charger goes into the P-. That way the battery charger can read when it's being charged, and you'll see the charge go from, if it's at 12% battery left, you'll see it charging going back up to 100. So that's your way to know that everything is working properly. So when it's in use, it'll go down, and when it's charging, you'll see that display go back up. So make sure again that the negative lead on your charging device, if you plug them in directly like I have, goes into here. The other way to do this, if you use alligator clips to charge your batteries, just make sure you use the negative alligator clip on the P-, and the display will properly show you the battery being charged and going from, you know, whatever percent it's at all the way back up to 100. Okay. The last part of this configuration here, and I know I got a little bit of a shadow, it's difficult today with the sun out here, and we're trying to get in here real good so you guys can see. You're going to need a 16 gauge wire, 14 or 16 gauge wire. All right, you can get this at any, you know, hardware store or anything like that. Here's the red wire right here, and it is going to go into one of these two little ports that's right in here. There's a little green housing. If you need to, you can strip back a couple of strands of wire to make it fit, because it is a tight fit. Once you get the majority of the wires in there, you're going to use a little screw, and it kind of screws those wires into place and it holds it there. On the other end of that, you're going to get a O-ring terminator, as you see here. You're going to clamp that onto the other side of the wire, and that goes into the positive side. Once you've done that, you have successfully installed the shunt, and it is ready to be used. All right, so now you have everything installed. From this point, you're going to run the cable out from here, and if you have this little housing unit, you're going to just put it up just underneath the lid part right here, and that'll allow it to stay clear when you put it into the hull of your autopilot. It'll allow it to sit in there without interfering with anything, and you can just lean forward to read the display and then use it. Now quickly, I want to share with you guys, when you first get this, you need to kind of zero it out. Now on here, you have 3 buttons. You have the volt button, which when you press it, it will show you how many volts your battery currently has. The middle button has the amp hours, and that is going to show you how many amp hours are being drawn out when it's in use. It also doubles as the set button. So once you get this, you need to tell the unit what kind of a battery is it dealing with here. Is it a 50 amp hour? Is it 100? Is it 150? So the middle button is going to be the one that you use to set it, and I believe by default it comes set at 100. So if you have 100 amp hour, generally you're good to go. Double check it though, make sure that it is 100, and if you have any other size battery, then go ahead and go in there and adjust it to the size battery that it is, so it can, you know, operate properly. And then finally, on the right side, the third button, you're gonna have the percentage button, and that's the button you're gonna press to get the percentage to display, so you can see your battery fully charged at 100. You can see it go down to 75, 50, 25, down to 0 if you take it all the way down there. But that button is going to show you the percentage. Now when you first get this item, you need to make sure that you set it up properly, and the way to do that is, first you're going to fully charge your battery. Make sure you know that it's 100% fully charged. Once you have the shunt in place, connected, ready to go, you're going to come on here, turn on the reader, the indicator. You're going to go to first set your battery size, so make sure if it's 100 amp hour, you do that. Then you're going to go to the percentage, and when I first received mine, it had 0%, even though my battery was at 100. So all you have to do there is just hold down the percentage button until it flips to 100, and then set it, and you're basically force setting the percentage reader to reflect what's on your battery. Once you do that, and if you configure it the way that I shared with you, anytime after this point, when you go to charge it back up after being used, it'll read properly at all times. You know, it'll read when it's being charged, and it'll go up, and as you use it, it'll go down, and you basically can just set it and forget it. And I'm guaranteeing you, this is going to give you so much more confidence out in the water. It's going to allow you to stay out there longer, fish harder, because at all times you'll know how much juice is in your battery, and for however many dollars this costs, it is an invaluable tool now that I have on my kayak out on Lake Michigan, so I can stay out there and pound away, grind out these dog days, the summer days where it's tougher to catch a salmon. I can stay out there a bit longer and know that I'll be good to go. And of course, I had to share this all with you guys to help you guys out. And if you found this video useful, let me know with a thumbs up. Leave a comment below if you have any questions about the setup. Happy to help as much as I can. And don't forget, if you need this, I'm linking down to it below in the description. You can find it right there through the Amazon link, so you can go ahead and pick it up. Otherwise, Amped Outdoors sells the kit, so if you want to install it and have it sit on your box like I have on mine, you can get that from them. So you have options, guys, and hopefully this helps. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you guys real soon.